Hello everybody, it's Richie, and I'm gonna do the Vinyl Tag 2021. I wasn't intending on doing this. Last year last year was at least 4 of them that I know of, and I don't know. I just didn't think I was gonna do one this year. I watched a couple and I thought, you know what? Before I watch any more, I'm gonna go ahead and do my take. Now, last year, Bip Bop Boom did the first 2020 Vinyl Tag. I did his questions because personally I thought they were the best set of questions that I've seen on any of these, including this one. The day after I did mine, Andrew Tales from the Crate came out with his, and for some reason his one became the official tag. The one I did and Bip Bop Boom did became the alternate tag. And I mean, what's up with that, man? I mean, what am I, the Rodney Dangerfield? Do you see I get no respect? You know, what the fuck? I mean, Andrew, he's a nice guy, but he doesn't even make videos for the most part. And when he does, oh, Jesus Christ, they're like an hour and something, you know. And when I do watch him, it goes by quick and I love him, but holy moly, he makes some long videos. Then there was the Vinyl Tag Singles Edition where you showed 7 inches. Then there was the Quarantine Vinyl Tag. So I was kind of Vinyl Tagged out, you know. But here I am. Let me get my questions. I got them written down here. The first one, a discovery in 2020. And I'm going to pick this one. Converge. This is an album that was VCLT sent to me by Eric Weinbender. Great artwork. I think it's the vocalist that does the artwork. Really dense. Good stuff. And I had never really heard of him until he did a punk video with a friend of his whose favorite band this was. I still didn't check him out. So he sent it my way and he got me to check him out. So that's probably, you know, but I did pick another one that I found out on my own, and that's Mural, a band from Colombia. Just good hardcore punk from Colombia. The singer kind of reminds me of an early Henry Rollins. The next one, a Quarantine By. Let me just state, these are generally pretty good questions. There's a few that I really don't know what to say, and there's 2 that I think are just shit questions. And the number 2, a Quarantine By, for me is a shit question. Living in California, it's pretty much a joke. Almost everything we bought was quarantine buys because fucking Governor Gruesome shut the fucking state down damn near the whole year, you know? Horrible mess. So I'm not going to answer that one. But I made my own. Who has the biggest heart in the VC? And I'm going with Captain Spaulding. He came up with the idea to do a record auction. He was just going to auction his own records. I don't know how many. He had quite a few. I don't know if he sent them out yet. But that's beside the point. His intentions were good. And then other people, you know, said, "Hey, I'll donate." I auctioned off 2. I think I bought 4, or maybe it was 5. I received most of them. But anyways, the biggest heart in the VC, Captain Spaulding. An album you want to find in 2021. Now this is one I don't know. I mean, I go to the store and I usually go to certain sections and I look for certain things, but I don't have anything set in my, okay, this is what I want to get this year. I mean, if I come across a record on Mainstream Records from the 60s at a good price, I'll pick it up. If I find an original SSD Control, I'll pick it up. But, you know, I'm not going to run into those, you know. I'm definitely not going to run into the SSD Control. So I don't know how to answer that one. A box set. And I'm going to show the Sam Hain box set. I should have shown this. I just recently did a Misfits Sam Hain Danzig video, and I did not show this. It was packed in a box. I didn't have it out at the time, but yeah. So I thought I'd show it on this one, you know. Comes with a comic book. Sam Hain comic book. There go the dogs again. It's got a booklet. I'm not going to show it, you know, the booklets. But I don't even remember what's in this. It's just pictures, you know. I'm not much into booklets and pictures and shit. It's got all the CDs. It's got the Final Descent. Now, I just picked up a vinyl version of this. And it turns out it's a bootleg, and it doesn't really sound that good. All the Sam Hains. I don't normally show. And this one here is a DVD, which is pretty cool. Motherfucker. but CDs can't scratch. DVDs, they can't scratch, can they? Oh, no, you know what? This is actually a CD. I wish it came with a DVD. But what it comes with is this VHS tape of Sam Hain, Evil Live. And it's pretty good, actually. And that's what the box looks like. Sam Hain box set. I'll put it over here so it doesn't get fucked up and fall. What's my next question? A concept album. I'm going with SF Sorrow by the Pretty Things. The Vinyl Archivist showed his version, UK cover. This is the US cover. Pretty unique. And it's on Rare Earth Records, of all things, which was a subdivision of Motown. Yeah. Really, a band that really never had any impact whatsoever in the US. The Pretty Things. An album or an artist... a band or an artist changed directions with this album. And I'm going to show a couple. I'm going to show this one, Miles Davis, On the Corner. He had several albums where he has changed his direction before this one. But this one was actually the second Miles Davis album I ever bought. The first one was one of those twofers on Prestige that came out in the early 70s, and I really dug that, man. It was like the Cool Jet, Cooking and Relaxing. It was those albums packaged together. There was another one, but anyways, I bought this one pretty much when it came out, and I was blown away, dude. After smoking out with my girlfriend or my friends, and then I'd come home, put this on the headphones, and it just blew me away. Another cool picture of Miles. But yeah, the jazz people hated this album when it came out. Some of them have turned around and now it's claimed to be a classic. But I came to jazz from a rock guy, and I dug this from the get-go, man. On the Corner. And I'm going to show one more where an artist changed directions. Now, I don't know if this is the album where they changed directions. This is a Nod. G-N-O-D. Very cool. I could have used this as a cool album cover. This band changes directions quite frequently, and I'm not exactly sure of the order, you know. Most of their releases are on CDR, more than half. So I don't know what came first. But anyways, the first Nod that I was exposed to was the more rockin'. Nod is a very repetitive band, and the rock ones are they get into a groove, almost like a krautrock groove, you know. This one is more atmospheric. Like, it starts off with a typewriter, you know, the sound of a typewriter, and some guy talking, you know, like an intellectual, Mazzy type guy talking, and then you hear these sounds, you know, electronic sounds, and it slowly builds up. And yeah, for me, this was a change of direction. But maybe the rock ones were I don't know. Obviously, the next one's a comp. No, a white label promo. This is another one. I don't really know. I know I have some white label promos. I don't, off the top of my head, know which ones are. You might be able to see some of these records are pulled out. Those are the 9 cubes that I went through to come up with this list. A comp. I'm going to show a couple. This is Oi. French Oi bands. And I bought this because of the band Cutthroat. I don't know how to say cutthroat in French. Converge is how I say it, but I know that's not how. And fortunately, that's not even the best song on this album. So yeah, this is a fantastic comp. Very good. Highly recommend it if you can find it. And I'm going to show one more of a psychedelic comp. Chocolate Soup for Diabetics. This is one of the records I won in the auction. Paid $20 for it. It's a UK, and it's basically, I believe it's all English psych bands. I don't really have a lot of I have a lot of comps, 60s comps, and not too many of them are the UK bands. I have some more on CD than I do on album. But yeah, very cool. And that was part of the Captain Spaulding charity auction. An album that has a story. Well, I don't know. I have a few, and I have 2 I pulled out, but I'm going to show this one. It's 4-Way Anal Touch Fight. Now, this album has a long story. I was at a party more than 25 years ago, and the lights were dimmed. This came on, and, all of a sudden, the guys and gals all started doing the 4-Way Anal Touch Fight, and I was like kind of horrified. And everybody else was watching and playing with themselves. And I left, man. I was like, but I was intrigued. I didn't know what the album looked like. I mean, I could hear what they're singing, and going to the park and doing the 4-Way Anal Touch Fight. And, this is a concept album, I guess. And then years later on the BC, as a joke, people were passing this around. And, you would listen to it and discuss, and then you would sign your name, and then you would send it off to somebody else. Nobody ever sent it to me. If they would have, I would have kept the damn thing. I wouldn't have sent it anyways. But I got it as VCLT from Sean, the Vinyl Minimalist. Fantastic album. And that's my album with a story. And I got another one I'm going to show. What the hell? This one here, Public Image Limited, live in Pasadena, California, November 8, 1982. I bought this bootleg, and I was playing it, and I realized that I was at this gig. I saw these guys at the Pasadena Civic, and I had forgotten. I mean, I've been to a lot of gigs, and I've forgotten who knows how many. But I could tell by the talking, in between the songs and that, I remember that, man. I was there, yeah. So there's my second story. I'm full of bullshit, ain't I? Okay, the next one. An album that needs a vinyl pressing. This is another one. I don't know. Now, albums that have never been pressed on vinyl, I don't really keep track of it. And I'm really unaware of them until after they get a vinyl pressing and people say, oh, it's the first time on vinyl. And I go, oh, okay. Now, there are records that have been pressed, and I think they need a repressing. I think SSD Control is the number one of that. On Discogs, there was an album cover of that album selling for $500. Just the cover. I think there was only 500 made. There are countless bootlegs. You go on Discogs. I just took it off on my Discogs want list because all the ones that pop up are from Europe. And they're wanting crazy money for them, $800, $1,000. And I'm going, there is no way this many records of a hardcore punk band from Washington, D.C. made it to Europe. There is no fucking way. I mean, I don't even know if they made it to California, you know? Not that very many of them did. So that would be a nice one. A common album and an uncommon album. I'm going with this one. David Bowie, Scary Monsters. Pretty common album. It had Ashes to Ashes and Fashion on it, the two singles. Big MTV hits. For me, this is a mixed bag. It's No Game, the first song on side one. It has a pretty good groove, but there's like a guest vocalist, I believe, if I remember right. It's horrible. I think she sings in Japanese or something. Up the Hill Backwards is okay. The last three songs, Scary Monsters, Ashes to Ashes, and Fashion, those three songs in a row, I'm glad they put them in a row. The best songs on the album. The uncommon album is this one, David Bowie Interview Disc. And as you can see, it's right there. And it's just basically just different tracks of, you know, of an interview for radio play, basically, I would imagine, yeah. This LP is a radio programming aid. It is not commonly available. DJ copy, not for sale. Let me see if it's a white label promo, huh? That's what the sleeve looks like. And I mean, I listened to it. Oh, look at that, dude. Look at this. I found my white label promo. See that? Not for sale. Anybody that buy would be an idiot. Okay, an EP. I'm going with the obvious one. The Angry Samoans, their first release, EP. 2 songs on side 1, 4 songs on side 2. This album, I don't know if people, I know some people are aware of K-Rock. It's a radio station in Los Angeles. They were the first radio station to play the Ramones, Blondie, Sex Pistols in the U.S. And actually, they were the first to play a lot of these bands in the world. And Rodney on the Rock was a DJ on K-Rock. And he would play, but he also played Brian Wilson. On Brian Wilson's birthday, he would play Beach Boys. He would have a Beach Boys show. But yeah, these guys here did a song, Get Off the Air. Get off the air, get off the air. And it was directed at Rodney Bingenheimer. And after that, these guys never got played. On K-Rock, a girl band. I'm going to go with the Pandoras. I was going to pick the Go-Go's, but Mazzy picked it. Mazzy was one of the ones I did watch before, and I thought, you know, I'll go a different direction. A 60s garage type band. And yeah, saw this band. I got a story with this band too. I saw this band in concert. It was in a little club up above a store. You had to go up these stairs behind the store to get in. And yeah, Paula Pierce, she was playing, and she had this net blouse on, no bra, you know, you could see the nips. But anyways, the first band came on. I don't remember who they were. It was another one of those Paisley underground bands. And there was a guy walking around with a cape and a cane, you know. And I'm thinking, who the hell's this guy? Well, when the first band came on, he jumped up on stage, and it turns out, oh, fuck, it's Sky Saxon from The Siege, you know, the guy pushing too hard and pushing. And he got up, you know, started singing with the band. And then he sang another song, and then he sang another song. He wouldn't shut up, man. They couldn't get him off. Well, when the Pandoras came on, he wanted to get up on stage, and they were having none of it. He didn't get to sing with them. It was pretty funny. An album cover you love. I'm gonna show a couple, man. The Psych bands had a lot of great album covers, as did Miles Davis in the 70s. And this is one I love. I love Pregnant Women, man. And yeah, this is, and the inside of the gatefold is marvelous. Great picture of Miles, you know, just slightly different pictures, you know, the same. But yeah, I dig that album cover, man. Scary. And I'm gonna pick a punk one, because the punks always had good album covers. And it's the Inbred Kissin' Cousins. And it's it's made to look like the Elvis Kissing Cousins album cover. And it's got a picture of Jerry Lee Lewis, who married his, 13, 14-year-old cousin, Fantastic. An album you've listened to the most. Now, there's a lot of those. I do tend to get the same albums repetitively. But the first album I ever really listened to all the way through, now when it was done, I put it back on side A, and listened to it all the way through again, was this album here. Before that, I never did that. So I'm picking this album for that reason. An album you had to get an OG copy of. Now, this is the other question I think is shit. Since when is an original pressing an OG? See, I have an issue with that. Now, recently, there was a VC member who's been kicked off of a live stream and because he used the N-word. What he had to say was very offensive. I was offended, just like I think almost everybody else was. And the person eventually kicked him off the live stream. They should have done it sooner. But he's banned now, and apparently he's banned for life because some of the people that watch the stream don't feel safe or comfortable if he comes back. And I can understand that. But life isn't always safe and comfortable, And I'm just wondering how many of those people that are so offended by the N-word refer to original pressings as OGs. I'm just wondering. Because an OG is an original gangster. And by referring to records as original gangsters, you're kind of glorifying the gang culture. You're kind of minimalizing the effect it has on people that grow up in these neighborhoods. And I wonder, the people that use that term, I wonder how many of them have had a black child or a black grown-up tell them, yeah, when I was in school, the kids would bully me and say, what, you want to be white? Because they were trying to learn in school, That is a culture that we need to fight that bullshit, not perpetuate. And I'm being serious here. I know I joke around a lot, but I'm being very serious here. I don't think referring to an original pressing as an OG is a very good thing. It probably started out with some kids who thought it was cool, probably upper class kids that go to college, don't have to deal with the fucking gang bullshit, drugs infested neighborhoods. But I know people that have. And I know people that have raised their kids up in those type of environments. And it's not cool. So that question is not getting answered here. So I made up another question. Who has the biggest balls in the VC? I'm going to go with Captain Spaulding again. He had the biggest heart, for doing this auction. But boy, he's got some big balls for taking the money from the children. And I still haven't got my albums from Captain Spaulding. I'm getting all the other ones, but the one that Captain Spaulding record I've been on, I haven't got. The last album you purchased is this one. It's the Coat Hangers, their debut. Still got in the shrink, and it's a gatefold. Oh, all the Europeans are in shock. Huh, Stunty? Invisible Ray, yeah, it's in the shrink. And because it was in 2019 I bought their new release, and I liked it, but I don't know. I liked some of it, and some of it, eh. And the Vinyl Potato told me, "Oh, you would love their early albums." Well, they were reissued. I found out about it late. I don't know. There's probably a handful of these left. And man, I love this. I think this is much better than. It's not as polished. The vocals are fucking frantic. I mean, both singers, but the one especially. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the songs are about nonsense, but the song Tanya Harding, it's just, the album just starts off so frantically crazy. And yeah, that's my latest purchase, and it will be in a Vinyl Finds, my next Vinyl Finds video. An album they don't get. Now this one, see, there's a lot of albums that I have that people don't get, but there are a group of people that do get it. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of albums that people love that I don't really get. But I understand why people like it, but it doesn't do anything for me. So I thought I would turn this question and show an album that I don't get, but other people think it's great. And it's DJ, what's his name? DJ Shadows. I believe this is his debut. I read about the guy, and when his debut came out, I bought it that week. And for me, it's very lackluster. It sounds like, I don't know, it doesn't sound all that mind-boggling to me. It just sounds like regular music. I know it's all samples, but I don't know. Doesn't do nothing for me. A punk album. I'm showing this one. Limp Wrist. I could have picked this for an album cover I love. I think that's fucking hilarious. Look at the dude, man. Yeah, I could have also chose this as a record I don't get. Side 1, man, is fantastic. Really fast, punk. Side 2 is more electronic, and I don't get it, you know. It's something more that, you know, a younger crowd would like. I kind of like, I do like Front 242. There's some electronic bands I like, but generally speaking, I like drums in my music. So that's my punk album. A favorite 2020 release? Well, I kind of covered that in my last video. It was a Nod album. Fantastic. Kind of ambient, jazzy feel to it. The sax gets a little wonky in a couple of parts. But overall, it's a really good album. Very percussive. And then I showed a Detroit punk album as a reissue. It actually had never been released the way it was released. I'll show it. This is actually never released like this, but it's all songs that were singles. Some of them never released, but yeah, that's the one I picked as my favorite reissue. So I'm gonna go with this one, and this is the Pathetics. Third Man Records put this out. This is a punk band formed in 1980. They went into a studio and recorded in 1981, and the recordings were never released until last year, thanks to Third Man Records. And he's been doing that with a lot of Detroit artists, and yeah. Jack White can be a dick. I know for sure. I know a lot of people don't like him. I like the White Stripes, but the White Stripes one time played at a K-Rock concert. They used to do almost acoustic Christmases, and I knew a guy that was a big fan of the White Stripes, so he took and he had a backstage pass, and he took his record to the concert because he wanted to get it signed. Well, he was backstage, and he came up to Jack White, and Jack White, he had an iPhone, and he had the iPhone in a wine glass, and he was playing music, and I guess that makes the sound better. That's why he was doing that. But anyways, he asked the guy, you know, the guy I know asked him, "Hey, can I have your autograph?" He goes, yeah, just wait right here. He took off, and a big ass burly guy came back, and they kicked him out of the show. I mean, come on, what a dick. Anyways, Andrew, Tales from the Crate. I love the guy, and I actually don't live that far from him anymore. He was talking about going underground records. It's I guess a fairly local record store for him. I can be at that store in less than 10 minutes. So maybe one of these days we'll hook up. Right now, I'm not really hooking up with anybody because of the virus. And, you know, I'm a hermit by nature anyway. So anyways, take care, everybody. Happy New Year.